Okay, Proverbs 29:18 says, where there's no vision, the people perish. The China is talking about renewing their belt line across various countries, and Nigeria is still tinkering about elections. I really not too excited at the current happenings at the country, and it's kind of disheartening and disappointing that apart from Malik Ado Ibrahim, who is the presidential candidate of YPP, who has a clear-cut outlook on his vision for the country, a man who has been under secretary, United Nations under secretary for renewable energy at the United Nations, a man who's owned a Formula One team, and he recently launched a farm which self-generates about 5 megawatts based on solar energy. I really do not see the other candidates putting up a sound and workable vision that actually addresses the demons that affect our country. Economically, you're talking of the industries like steel, refinery, and petrochemicals. Nobody's talking about that. On the security angle, understanding the security architecture of Nigeria vis-a-vis our borders, vis-a-vis our map, nobody's talking about the real issues that would address our security issues. So when I encapsulate all of them together, I just see it last 2023 as another rudimental exercise. So I'm not expecting too much, while Peter Obi is of a slightly different stock of Atiku and Peter Tinubu. We just pray that God does best what is known best for doing, and that's bringing a surprise entirely on who becomes president or helping whoever wins. That's all I have to say. Thank you. We've not had nobility in government. People just go to steal. And he's balanced on a religious quota. His mom is Catholic, his dad is Muslim. Unfortunately, understanding the global and the national dynamics of politics, he would not win, because you need 4 things to win a national elections in Nigeria. 1, you need the macro dynamics to work in your favor. 2, you need the data analytics to be right. 3, you need money. And 4thly, you need momentum. So I think he's the best candidate amongst the lot. There's also an Adedayo of SDP, who is under 50, runs a very successful law firm locally and internationally, but they don't have the current momentum, and neither do they have do they meet the other criteria that can deliver them. So amongst the 3 front runners, you have a Tinubu, an Atiku, and Obi. Obi is of a very slight different stock because of his frugality. So I just pray God helps, but am I really excited? Nobody's addressing the real issues. Because when you think of politics, we think of power. No, it's the wrong focus. In South Africa, the blacks called out the Caucasians for institutional racism, ethnic profiling for many years. The blacks became president. Mandela became president. Thabo Mbeki became president. Jacob Zuma became president. What did they do? They misused power. Today, the youth wing of the ANC, Julius Malema, has created a new party, Economic Freedom Fighter. What does that point to you? The real issue is not political, because APC sorted for power. They got power. What did they do with it? In Nigeria, civilians sorted for power from the military. What did they do with it? In Nigeria, the populace sought power from the colonial masters. What did they do with it? So I'm not really bothered about the politics per se. I'm looking beyond. I'm looking at it in a developmental context. We have 4 refineries at installed capacity of 420,000 barrels per day. They've not worked at optimal capacity for the last 20 years, even above 10%. So nobody's speaking on that. You're going to pay 6 trillion naira on subsidy this year on imported petroleum products. Nobody's talking about Lagos traffic alone cost you 4 trillion annually, 41.2 million hours per day. Nobody's talking about that. Heavy industries, which is the foundation of commerce and economy. Nobody's talking about that. The youth unemployment, youth about 3%. Nobody's talking about that. Even the industries that can absorb them, nobody's talking about that. We're playing politics. So the question is, I cannot be part of that bandwagon, because I understand the dynamics to know that it's not really political. Holding political power is minute. Rothschild, one of the Rothschild, what did he say? He said, give me the monetary system of a country. I do not care who runs the country. So political power is just a pitch of it. You can solve Nigerians' problems without becoming president. What did Dangote do for cement? We were a consuming nation for cement. What did Dangote do? Dangote floated a cement manufacturing plant. We stopped importing cement. Was that a positive token? Yes. Because if we were still importing cement, our forex demands would have been higher. Today, Dangote operates in 10 countries, producing 48.6 million metric tons of cement. He's done the same thing for refinery. Indorama has done the same thing for fertilizer. So we need to, and if you look at education, for example, we're talking about ASU. How can we solve it without even thinking of government? We have private universities. Adelekes have private universities. Babalolas have private universities. What can we do? All we need to do is to create more private universities, because when there's increased supply, the price will definitely come down. Diaspora remittance is about $26 billion. If you can talk to the diaspora and let's push, say, $10 billion of that into building tertiary institutions like universities, we can absorb another 250,000 people. That will help. And if as you like, let them go on strike. So we need to liberalize the economy. I'm not for politics. Politics will not help you. Politics turned Ukraine to a war zone because Viktor Yanukovych in 2014 was undemocratically removed, who was president of Ukraine at that time. So let's focus on politics. China focused on let's focus on economics. China focused on economics. And what did they do? Heavy industry. China produces about 880 million metric tons of steel. That is serious business. They use internally about 666 million metric tons. The remaining 140 is what they export to you as project is in railway and whatever construction. So let's focus on economics. And I cannot hear anybody speaking economics. Even this constitution supports that. What does it say? Section 14, subsection 2B of Nigeria's 1999 constitution says the security and the welfare of the people shall be the primary concern of government. Nigeria has no borders. Go to GB. I served in Katsina. The borders are porous. Anybody can come in and go out. Look at Benin border. Buhari had to close it. Why? We're bleeding economically from Benin. Everything shipped into Cotonou is smuggled into Nigeria. You say you're consuming 48 million liters of petroleum every day. All of that is smuggled to Cameroon and Chad. You're talking about bandits. They've told you that most of these bandits are not Nigerians. So if nobody's talking about the border, nobody's talking about expanding our economy, nobody's talking about heavy industry, I cannot be excited about 2023. I can just sit down and look. I think we need to graduate away from politics and celebrating mediocrity. Malik Ado Ibrahim understands to some level the global context of development. He understands the security architecture of a country. He understands weapon system and the use of technology. But unfortunately, I know he would not win. So what do? We'll just pray God to help us. That's all I can say. Thank you. If I use Rwanda for example, April 6, 1994, the then president of Rwanda and Burundi, they died in a plane crash. Immediately there was a genocide where over 1 million people died. In 1994, the GDP of Rwanda was 743 million. Today is 11 billion. That is economics. To see a gorilla, I was watching a documentary about Rwanda. To see a gorilla in Rwanda, it's $1,500. Their contribution from tourism to the economy is 15%. 15%, yes. Rwanda, as I speak to you, Kigali, the capital of Rwanda today, is the safest capital in Africa. It's a smart city. It's Haba. We are still talking politics. Politics is at the backbone in Rwanda. It's development. They have a president who has a background in military intelligence. How can you solve military problems if you don't have military intelligence? What have we done to prepare these people for leaders? We're blaming Jonathan. Did we train him to become a president? We're blaming Buhari. Did we train him to become in the US? You have to go to war or whatever. There's a minimum requirement you meet. Have we trained these people? Amongst the presidential candidates, which of them have gone to a leadership institute tilted towards the specific yearnings and challenges that Nigeria faces? None of that. We just carry people, they buy the bandwagon, we go emotionally behind them. Who prepared them for leadership? Nobody. So it's about preparedness. If you're not prepared, you will fail. So why we're expecting the right things from the wrong places? We didn't train Jonathan. Jonathan just evolved from deputy governor to president without understanding the dynamics. First, military. This constitution says security and welfare. So someone that has to be president must understand security. Egypt had a democratically elected government. What did they happen? They overthrew him. Today, Field Marshal Sisi is the president. Obi went there to learn power. Look at Ukraine. You put a comedian there. Now he's fighting war. What does he know about war? Ukrainians are dying. So until we prepare people and we have a system that raises leaders, the church and the mosque is supposed to be raising leaders. Yes, to some extent. Let's focus on those things and stop playing politics with church and the mosque. Going there to kneel down and pray. Let's leave all those grammar. Let's prepare people for leadership. Let's start modeling youth today for leadership and let's train them. If we have to send them to Santos, go on. No, there are different kinds of change, Mr. Okay. There are different kinds of change. Okay. There's transitory change, there's developmental change, and there's transformational change. We've experienced change. What do I mean? We transited from military to civilian. That's transition. The government called it transition. That's transitory. There's developmental change. Before we were using home landlines. Today we have GSM, that's developmental. What we've not had is transformational, where people think of their country, where there's nationhood. In Rwanda, as I speak to you, if you go and say you are Hutu or Tutsi, wiki man, you'll be a dead man. You'll be instantly arrested. So we need nationhood. Nigeria is too small for those ethnic chauvinism, religious bigotry, paramilitary sentiment. Nigeria is only 923,000 square kilometers. Why are we deceiving ourselves? 1 hour you can fly to anywhere in Nigeria. We're talking of Boko Haram and Sambisa forest. With geospatial data, you can clear the whole Sambisa with just 2 bombs. Why are we fooling ourselves? Nigeria is only $430 billion economy. That's the revenue of Amazon. That's almost the wealth of Elon Musk. So we are making things that are small big. We're making big things small. We need big ideas. We're in the age of big data, big bang, big things. What is our political discussion? People are talking of debate. I'm not expecting anything from those debates. In 2022, when Elon Musk is providing Starlink internet for Ukraine that is at war, he just signed an agreement with Mozambique and Nigeria, in an individual. Don't forget what I said. We can solve Nigerians' problems without even becoming president. There's too much on politics. Nobody's focusing on developmental economics. And we keep deceiving ourselves that we have one big problem. Let's address the issues. And what is the issue? Economic. It happened in South Africa. George Weah has been fighting to become president. He's president now. What can he do? Nothing. Because when you get there, from outside it's different. I've been in government. Then Buhari was saying, change, $1 to this. It's easy to say. When you get there, especially if you're not prepared, you'll be consumed by the demons that will be there waiting for you. So my take is, apart from dancing around for 2023, 1, let's tilt the discussion to economics. 2, let's start preparing leaders for tomorrow. Let's put institutions that can train these people to see things in the light of what they are. What does the Bible say? As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. You are either part of the problem, you're part of the solution. But how can you be part of the solution if you think solution-centrically? Thank you.